Come here, he said, digging his finger in it. Brownie came to sit near him. Isn't it so amazing? He asked. I can't see the end of it. You think it's very far? Can I fly to the opposite side? It's really, really far. The opposite side is thousands of kilometers away. If you want to fly there, you'd better take a plane, Brownie said, looking at the sea. Maybe we could go later. I wonder what it looked like. He put his arm around her shoulder, surprising her a bit. You'll go with me, right? You'll never let me go alone, right? He asked. She put her hand on his shoulder. Never ever, she said. Good, he said happily, and he made some fire appear out of his hand to dry his shoes and the bottom of each jean. When he was done, Brownie got up suddenly. Come to help me, she said, extending her hand to help him get up. Do what? He asked. Looking for seashell. There are plenty behind those rocks in the creek, she said, starting to run. Sahel ran after her. I'm gonna catch you. No way, Brownie said, laughing. But he caught her just before she reached the rocks and carried her flying on the opposite side. See, I got you, he said, laughing. That's because you're bigger and run faster. So unfair, she said, pouting. Sahel resisted his wish to kiss her and ran away looking for seashell. Look at that one, he said, holding a tiny blue snail-like shell in his hand. Oh, and there is the same in yellow. And look at this big one. Brownie was laughing and collecting seashells too. Once I get my ether power, I'll go out every day, Sahel said. Brownie sighed. I wish, but I think that as long as we get this nightmare, they are not going to leave us alone, she said. Then, instead of letting them find us, we'll go to find them first, and I'll have the advantage of the surprise, Sahel said very seriously. And what would you do all alone against all of them? Brownie asked, a bit scared by the idea. I don't know yet. It depends how strong I'll become. I'll figure out something, and maybe I'll make friends who will help tomorrow, he said. Maybe, Brownie said, unconvinced. Sahel took a big shell in his hand. I'll bring that one for Lawan. I don't think she has one like that, he said. I don't think so, Hazer, Brownie said, happy to change topic. She was looking at Sahel, who was putting more and more shell in his pockets. What are you going to do with all that? She said. I'm not sure yet, but I just don't know which one to choose. They are all so beautiful, he said so seriously that he made Brownie laugh. She sat on a big rock and looked at the sea. Do you think we have to go back home for lunch? Sahel said, sitting near her, tired of getting shell a few minutes later. No, we'll get something there, she said, pointing at a little stand. Sausage and chips? He said with a big smile. So cool! I'm so hungry. Then let's go, she said, getting up. As they were eating, she felt her aquamarine getting warmer. She started to look around, but the beach was looking deserted. Nothing looking like a demon was to be seen. She still felt a bit uneasy and stayed on guard. Sahel didn't notice anything. He was too happy biting in his bread and chips. Let's go to the carnival then, when we're done eating, Brownie said. Sure, Sahel said. I want to try the merry-go-round. Brownie laughed despite the worried look she was throwing around. We'll see if we have time, she said. Okay, which direction is it? He asked, eating his last chips. That way, she said, pointing at the big whale, which was barely appearing behind the houses and trees. He took her in his arm, as he had done in the morning, and started to fly to the carnival. The aquamarine around Brownie's neck cooled down a little, but she was still feeling observed. She hoped that once in the carnival they would be able to disappear in the crowd. Sahel landed near the big wheel. Wow, he said, there are so many people. He took Brownie's hand. Let's go to that one first. There aren't so many people. He climbed into some cup-looking seat that started to turn around a few minutes later. Sahel was laughing like crazy, and Brownie was holding the metal bar in front of her, not really reassured. He passed a reassuring arm around her shoulder and pulled her closer. Don't be scared. I'll get you if you fall, he said. But Brownie was still clinging at the bar, not wanting to think about the possibility. They were not even down yet when the aquamarine started to warm up again. After recovering from her emotion, Brownie took it out of her jumper. It was emitting blue light. "I think you should put your medallion back on," she said. "It has been like that since the beach, and I don't know why. It's pretty disturbing." Saying that, she was throwing glances everywhere in the crowd. Sahel sighed but took the medallion out of his pockets. "I swear I'm going to get rid of all of them as soon as I get all my powers," he said between his teeth, unwrapping his medallion. It was also slightly warm, but Sahel didn't open it. The appearance of the dark shadow would have attracted demon for sure. He took Brownie's hand again and showed her his bright smile. "No, we're going up there," he said, pointing at the top of the big well. "I don't mind that one. It goes slowly," Brownie said. "That's just because I want you to have some rest before that one." He pointed at a nacelle where people were hanging upside down. Brownie swallowed and frowned. "You really want my death," she said. "Of course not," Sahel answered, putting his arm around her shoulder. "I'll be protecting you." Brownie passed her arm around his waist. The contact gave him a shiver of surprise, but he pulled her closer. "If you say so," she said. The big whale started moving slowly, and they soon reached a height from where they could see the entire park. Brownie pointed at a group of 5 demons, who seemed to be looking for something further on the left. "I think I found them," she said. "Me too," Sahel said, showing another group on the right. "That makes 8 of them," Brownie said, sighing. "I don't think they noticed that we are up here, so... Do you want to fly home from here?" Sahel asked. "It sounds safer," Brownie said. "I wanted to taste the cotton candy and to win you something," Sahel said, pudding. "Like, for a proper day. They just ruin everything." Brownie's heart started to race in her chest, and she took his hand. She had never imagined that Sahel was seeing the day as a date. "That was my best date ever," she said, blushing. "I know that's a lie," he answered, getting up. "No, that's not," she answered. "You really don't see me as a kid anymore?" he asked, doubtful. "That may sound strange, but you have been in my dream as you are here since you were born, so having you changing so fast was strange because I saw you become what I always knew you would," she said. "Which doesn't really answer the question, but I guess that's okay for now. Let's go before the well goes too down," he said, taking off with her. Brownie didn't know how to tell him, how to explain that she had always loved him, ever since the first time she had seen his soul in someone else's eyes. They entered the house, as they left it, through their open bedroom window. "I don't think they followed us," he said. "I don't think they ever saw us," she answered. Her aquamarine had stopped beating as soon as they had taken a bit of altitude. Sahel took the diary and sighed. "I'd better get ready for tomorrow," he said. "I'm sorry it ended up like that," Brownie said. Sahel winked at her. "Don't worry about that. At least I proved I can protect my girl." Brownie laughed. Sahel walked to the window and looked down at the street and the garden. "Now that you're safe here, maybe I should go have a word or two with them, and teach them not to disturb me when I'm dating," he said, half teasing. "Or you can come with me to the kitchen and have some waffles," Brownie said. "Don't you dare try to stop me with food," he answered. "I'm not," she said, taking the most innocent look she could. Sahel sighed and followed her in the kitchen. He held her cool glancing at the window and desperately wanting to be outside. Even Brownie, trying her best to cheer him up, and the waffle didn't make up for the loss of what could be his only day of real freedom. He was flipping the page of the diary while eating his waffle. "Stop reading that," Brownie said. "You probably know it by heart now, and that won't help much anymore." "I don't know," Sahel said, not taking his nose out of the notebook. "The more I read it, and the more I feel like something is missing, but I can't figure out what it is." "Missing? I think there's way enough sordid details for my taste," Brownie said. "I'm not talking about that," Sahel said. "Just that doesn't make sense. If he was so sick, why would he go back there? Why were they letting him go? Because they were thinking that would cure him in the end. That's what he explains," Brownie said, not really seeing where Sahel was going. "I mean, why does the notebook stop so brusquely? Why didn't he write his revenge story until the end? He just stopped without showing at all what he did," Sahel continued. Brownie sighed. "I don't know, maybe he didn't finish it, maybe he's still trying or give up, or he's dead somewhere, or captured, or whatever." She was really wondering why Sahel was bringing that up right now. "I'm just wondering what happened to him. That's all. I guess, but I still feel strange about it. As if something obvious was lost," Sahel said, closing the book. "But you're right, that's probably nothing." He took another bite of his waffle, not really convinced, and started to look through the window again. The sun was hiding behind thick dark cloud, and it was probably going to rain soon. That was definitely the end of summer. He sighed and got up to put his dish in the dishwasher. "I think I'm going to go try to sleep," he said, walking to the door. "That early?" Brownie asked. It wasn't really like Sahel to go to sleep in the middle of the afternoon. "I don't really have anything interesting to do anymore, and at least, if I'm sleeping, I'll stop thinking," he said, leaving the room. Brownie looked at him leave, finished a last waffle, and started to clean as well. He had been so happy in the morning, but now it was all over, and there was nothing she could do about it. Going out hadn't been the best idea ever, and now he knew everything he was missing. When she got back to her bedroom, trying to make as little noise as possible, he was looking fixedly at the ceiling. "I'm not sleeping yet," he said, still staring at the ceiling above him. "I see," she said. "I'm not really sure if sleep can come that easily." "I'm thinking too much about the future," he said, "and also about the absence of future." "Don't say that," Brownie said, trying to hide the tears coming to her eyes. "Look at my chances, seriously. I'll be all alone, and there will be hundreds, thousands of them. They will be strong, older, and wiser. I won't be allowed to use my power, but they would, and they will also have more powers than I do. And they are also looking for me, personally, to kill me. That's really rejoicing," he said bitterly, not even looking at her. She sighed, not really knowing what to say. She wanted to find something reassuring, something that would have helped. She wanted to tell him just not to go and that everything would be fine, that way. And how sorry she was for having him going through this just because of her. But she knew that it was impossible and that after today, Sahel would be willing to hide anymore. She took a deep breath and said what she thought she would never be able to say because she didn't say it to you in the same situation, and she couldn't help thinking that if she had been a bit more courageous, nothing would have happened to him. "Of course you don't stand a chance. Tomorrow morning you are going to fly through that window, and they will get you. At best you will reach the cave and start the training before they get you. At worst you won't set foot in it. Why does it matter anyway? The result will be the same. They will torture you, make every single cell of your body hurt like hell, and you're going to want to yell and to cry for help, but that won't happen because as soon as they will be tired of hearing you, they will make it impossible for you to yell, and you will continue your long and slow agony, alone in your mind, blind and deaf, and not even knowing what is going to happen to you next." She marked a pause, to get her breath back, got up and started walking in circles in the room. Sahel had sat up in this hammock, and was staring at her incredulous. "The only thing that you will know is the smell of sweat and blood, your own blood. That is not need to say, as you will almost drown in, but that is while you are still conscious, and who you are, just before they take your soul away from your body, and that they start to torture it. At that moment, you first feel liberated, because all the pain becomes just physical. But they don't stop there, of course. They start to torture it, slowly, very slowly, and they erase one by one your most precious memories, the ones that you were calling deep inside of you, the ones that were giving you the last little part of sanity that you have." "Stop it," Sahel said with a very little voice, but Brownie continued. "They won't stop until there is nothing remaining of you at all. Oh, if you're lucky, they will let you out and go home, at least what is left of you, and they will continue to erase your memory while I'm here talking to you, taking care of you. In the end, you will not even know what I'm doing to you. If that's bad or not, your skin is going to grow so cold that any sensation will be denied from it, as cold as death." "Stop it!" Sahel jumped out of his hammock and pushed her violently against the wall. Stop it now! Stop it now! "I won't! I can't!" she yelled with her eyes full of tears. "Because that's exactly what will happen to you if you go there in that state. If you go there already feeling beaten tomorrow morning. If you just give up like that. So I won't stop, and I'll tell you exactly what will happen to you. They will—" But Sahel put his finger on her lips and hugged her. It won't. I won't let them do that," he said. She tried to continue. "Shh," Sahel said, stroking her hair. It's all right, I know, it's over now." He continued to cuddle her until she calmed down a little. "How could you keep something like that for yourself for so long?" he finally asked. "Who could have listened to it?" she answered. I could have. You can tell me anything, you know, he said. He tried to look at her, but she was still burying her face in his chest. You had other things to think about, she said. He sighed, feeling how selfish he had been all along, as she had done nothing but only thinking about him all the time. So what do you propose? He finally asked. I'm not too sure, but you know already everything that is going to happen. And that's mostly why it's so scary, right? She said, coming back to her own self. She pushed him gently away and started to walk in circles in the bedroom again. They are expecting you to be scared. That's their plan. The nightmares are here for that. The little creatures in the chimney were probably here for that too. The demons appearing around us as if attracted by something as soon as we set a foot outside. And maybe even this diary too. Everything seems to be just a plan to scare you. If you are scared, you are vulnerable. And if you are scared, they will know that you are you more easily. Sahel was looking at her, not too sure of being able to follow her reasoning. My point of view is that they don't have a clue. They are not even able to follow us. They are not that smart. They have been so segregated that they don't know about humans that much. And that will be your strength. To use your human's abilities, she said, still walking. Sahel wondered what his human ability were supposed to look like, and he looked at his hand as if the answer was written on them, but Brownie was too busy following her reasoning to see that he was a bit lost. There will not be only you there, but other demons of your age as well, a bit like a class, and they will have to find you in the middle of them. They will probably expect you to be weak, as you were raised by humans. They probably don't think that you know that much about demons, and they won't be expecting your dark shadow either, she said. I have a question, Sahel said shyly, interrupting her. What is it? She said, looking at him as if she just realized he was still here. That's okay, I guess, but, what am I really supposed to do now? Because whatever they think is not going to change anything to the fact that I'll be alone against all of them, he said, a bit confused. The thing is, you know who they are, but they don't know who you are, she said. Sahel looked at her with a lost look. Don't you see the advantage? They are going to look for you, and you just have to hide. It's a hide-and-seek game. If you get your powers over Ether before they find you, you win. She showed him a big, proud smile. He took his chin in his hand and stroked it like thinking. If I'm just in the middle of them, and that they can't see me, how am I exactly supposed to hide? He asked after a few seconds. Obviously, Brownie said, not believing that he didn't think about it himself. You'll have to pretend that you are a demon. Sahel looked at her in disbelief and started to laugh. What's so funny? She said very seriously. You're talking nonsense. Okay, you wanted to cheer me up and that's done. You're so funny pretending to be a demon, but I am a demon. Can't you see it? He shook his wing to accompany the last part of the sentence. Brownie sighed. That's not funny. Be a little serious. Sahel was still totally unconvinced, but still stopped laughing. All right, Brownie said. Now that you are back to normal, let me explain. She sat on the bed and opened the diary to the first picture, inviting him to come closer. Look, she said, pointing at the demon in the picture. That's what I mean by being a demon. You are too human. What are you going to tell them if they ask you questions? Sahel shook his head. He was starting to see what she meant, but still needed to be pushed a little. Starting from now on, your favorite dish is raw meat, and your favorite game is to set trees on fire with your brother. You are competing to see who does it faster, she said, turning to the next picture. Sahel had a disgusted look on his face at the motion of raw meat, but soon composed himself and got the idea. I like to put little kitten in a big bowl of water, he said, making a ball appear in his hand. This time that was Brownie's turn to look disgusted, but she smiled soon afterward, pushing the image away. Excellent. You need to look terrifying. They need to think that you are like them, nasty, ready to torture the weaker one and to bear all hardship. Don't try to help anybody in there. If you can't bear it, don't look and concentrate. If you can, look with pleasure on your face, she said with a hard voice. Sahel swallowed hard. All right, I will be pleased enough if I'm not one of the weak ones. You won't be, Brownie said affirmatively, with a tone of voice letting no room for contradiction. I won't be, Sahel repeated. His medallion started to warm up in his hand. He opened it, and the dark shadow went suddenly out, and almost jumped on Brownie before stopping confused. He threw her a strange look. What are you trying to do? He asked. If I had told him that, he would never have believed me. Why are you trying to think like a demon all of a sudden? I'm just trying to make sure you two come back safe, Brownie said. And if I need to become a demon for that, so be it. The dark shadow turned to Sahel. She's completely insane, but that's better than before, he said, laughing. He turned to Brownie again. There's just one thing you forgot in the calculi. Me. Brownie smirked. I guess you would just do what you do best, she said. And what is that? The dark shadow asked, as if it was sure to find a fault in her plan. Be a pain to everybody around, of course. What else? She said. He stared at her a little, started to laugh, and disappeared back in the medallion. The last word from him they heard was insane. He's crazy, Sahel said. Going out just for that? You'll have to be one with him tomorrow, Brownie said. Just don't fight him, okay? He's one of your best allies. More like the only one, Sahel said, taking his medallion off. What are you doing? Brownie asked, with a little strident voice. Shh, Sahel said, putting a finger on his lips and the medallion on the bed. He took her hand and took her in the corner of the room, glancing at the medallion that was really looking harmless on the bed. He pushed a tuft of her hair away from her ear and started to whisper. Tomorrow, he and I will be united like one. So when I come back, I'm not sure I'll be really myself, he started. Brownie made a move to make him stop, but he continued. When I get back, don't trust me. Whatever happens, don't trust me until I say you something special, he said. Like what? She asked. Sahel scratched his head, thinking. I will ask for strawberries. I will tell you exactly. Can I have some strawberry pancakes? He said. Brownie laughed. Strawberry pancakes? Sahel put his finger on her lips, glancing at the medallion, not too sure if the dark shadow could hear them or not. Be careful. I'm not sure that he cannot hear us when I'm away, he said. But Brownie was still laughing at the idea. Stop laughing and tell me you'll do it, he said very seriously. I'll do it, she said, with a smile on her face. He still did not believe her. You have to promise, he whispered. I don't want anything happening to you if I can't get rid of him as I want to. You have to promise. You won't let me come anywhere too close to you or anyone in here if I don't tell you the password. Promise. Okay, I promise, Brownie said, putting her hand on her heart. I won't do anything with you until you prove me you are yourself only. Is that okay now? Sahel looked in her eyes, and she could see the purple light of his soul dancing in his brown eyes again. That's okay, he said, letting her go and walking to the bed to get his medallion back. No, I'm the nastiest demon the world ever carried, and I'm going to take a well-deserved shower, he added, walking to the bathroom. Brownie sighed, looking at him, and he closed the door behind him. The nastiest demon the world ever carried. That wasn't believable at all, but she hoped that the demon would want to believe it more than she did. Alright, that was a very long chapter, but that's it for today. So I hope that I will be able to give you the next chapter next week. I will really try my best for that. So see you next week. Bye. Have fun, whatever you do.